Hi, it's time for Street Talk, your voice and your views on the issues in the news. Violent fighting between Hamas and Fatah in the Palestinian territories was the subject of our show on Monday, and it's continuing to elicit many emails from you. For that show, we spoke with Palestinian writers Ghada Karmi and Sari Nusseibeh for their perspectives from London and Jerusalem. Dr. Karmi became very passionate at one point while attempting to explain the reasoning behind the heightened fighting.
I'm aware that there's been excessive violence. I understand it. I do not excuse it, but I understand its causes. And the way to end it is to open the prisons that Israel has created for the Palestinians, to let in some air so that people can behave normally and can regain a normal life and not behave in this reprehensible way, which you very well described.
Now, we can only manage limited viewer participation in each live show, so here's some of the sample of those comments and questions that made the mailbag but not the show. One interesting question came from Yagi in Nigeria. What if the Palestinian president calls for elections and Hamas wins again? Will the US and West boycott the government? Malik in Pakistan points the finger at the entire region. The Muslims and Arabs, through their stupidity and treachery, have helped this to become a reality, not only in the Middle East, but in Asian and African countries as well. Abdul in England says the parties have lost sight of their goals. It seems like both Hamas and especially Fatah have forgotten that they are here to serve the Palestinian people, not their own egos. Now, if you don't feel responsible towards others while driving, then you're breaking one of the 10 commandments. At least one of the new 10 ones that the Vatican has just released. The document titled Guidelines for the Pastoral Care of the Road was released on Tuesday and warned that cars can be an occasion of sin. It advised people to pray while in their vehicles. The Vatican cited high numbers of car-related deaths for releasing the new commandments, as well as the fact that people are spending more and more time behind the wheel. The commandments include support the families of accident victims, on the road protect the more vulnerable party, and you shall not kill. Lawrence in Maine in the US thinks the Vatican has crossed the line. This is just another example of why there must be separation of church and state. All religion must be kept out of government because their beliefs often trample on the civil rights of those who don't believe as they do. Alicia in California, a place famous for traffic jams in America, believes it's all a publicity stunt. To some extent, this seems like a bit of PR for the church, trying to prove that it is relevant and useful to people, addressing the modern reality of people spending many, if not most, of their waking hours in a car, and applying the 10 Commandments in that context. Barb, also in the US, seems a little resentful of the latest edict from the church. I think the Pope is out of line in his new commandments. He's jealous because he can't drive or own a nice car, nor can he have a few drinks with his friends out on the town and drive back to his castle. Well, he shouldn't drink and drive, and he's got the Pope-mobile, you forget. Isaac Newton is a name known around the world, most notably for his theories in science and mathematics. One exhibit in Jerusalem is choosing to showcase his other interests and beliefs, one being that the world is going to end in 2060. The manuscripts being displayed at the Jewish National Library depict a man who had a thirst for theology and ancient cultures. In them, he professes his disbelief of the Christian Trinity and his closer ties to Judaism. The manuscripts had originally been auctioned off in 1937 and just recently made their way to the museum. The exhibit will be on display until July the 17th. Now, we've shown you beatbox music from around the world, and now Afghanistan's beatboxers are causing quite a stink. I just hope it's not a love song. Now, I guess break time in Kabul has its own charm for the local people. That's it until next time. Do keep sending in your questions and comments and point us to anything interesting or amusing or noisy for Street Talk. Remember, what you see here isn't necessarily the view of Al Jazeera, and some of the content's been edited, but for time and space reasons only, if not good taste. And that's the talk on the street.